Welcome to Turn to Your Neighbor. This is the Christian Talk Show where we talk about the church, music, movies, social media, and a whole lot more. My name is Cliff, and this is Dr. T.
Hello, neighbors.
What's up to all the neighbors in the house tonight? Big Dre will be with us a little bit later. So right now you got the two of us, and we are going to have a good time on tonight. A lot to talk about. Kelly Price went missing, and we got a bunch of evangelical preachers talking about their jets and a whole lot of other things. We thank y'all for hanging with us on today. Neighbors already fighting in the chat about random
Yes.
stuff that got nothing to do with what we're talking about, but that's all right.
Yes.
Nothing to do with the content of the show, the normal content of the show, but that's all right.
Yeah.
Y'all have a good time. Neighbors, do me a favor right now and make sure you hit the share button right now on your device or on your tablet or your laptop, however you watching. Just make sure you share, hit the like button. It's a bunch of y'all watching. There's only one like. The least you could do is hit the like button.
And
The
that
least.
like is me.
The least you could do.
Like the show.
That is the least you could do.
Sharing is caring.
Yeah, so neighbors, before we get to the main part of the show, I want to say happy birthday to Dr. T, who just celebrated birthday yesterday. So neighbors, show us some love in the chat, please.
I did. Thank you so much. I did get some love all up and through my Facebook from the neighbors. As y'all can see, I'm a year older and I decided to cut off all my hair. So it's been a really good few days. I guess I cut my hair on Friday. I was a guest faculty football coach, which is why we won. No,
Oh, okay. So you
just
got to be on
kidding.
the
There was no
sidelines.
coaching involved, but yes, I was on the sidelines of the
Okay.
game. That was really cool. I did that Friday night into Saturday, and here I am with you, lovely people. So it's all good. It's the year's off to a great start.
On your 21st birthday. Look at
I
God.
know.
Look at how he's
Just
kept
look
you.
at him. Just look at him. Won't he just redeem your time? I'm telling you.
21 plus some other years, but that's all right. That's all right. All right. So we got a lot to get to. And without Dre here to bring up some random thing, we can get straight to it.
That's right.
Yeah, but I will say, I know a lot of y'all probably know about Kelly Price. I will save that until Dre gets here. Because maybe Dre has some spicy takes
I'm sure
about
he
that. I'm
does.
sure he does.
He would be very
Um,
disappointed if we talked about that without him.
so the first thing I want to talk about is a bunch of evangelical preachers got together and they had something called Victory Thon. I have no idea what Victory Thon really is, or I never heard of it before. I just know that the video I'm about to show you, a bunch of evangelical preachers, well known, Jesse Duplantis, Kenneth Copeland. Not. I don't think these are neighborhood favorites, but they end up being on the show because of the things that they say and or do, and they did not disappoint. First, so Jesse Duplantis, TV preacher or what have you, he basically says that Jesus has not come yet because the people aren't giving enough. So yeah, because y'all not greasing the offering good enough. That's why Jesus ain't
Mm.
yet. So I want you and the neighbors to take a look and a listen to this.
I honestly believe this, that the reason why Jesus hadn't come is because people are not
We
giving
can't
away
see
God.
the video.
You
Oh
see what I'm saying?
yes, that's
I mean,
that's
when you
problematic.
understand,
It'd be helpful if I did this right. Acting like I haven't done this before. All right, we're gonna try this again. Oh, here we go.
I honestly believe this, that the reason why Jesus hadn't come is because people are not giving the way God told them to give. You see what I'm saying? I mean, when you understand it, you can speed up the time. I was on television. He said, I heard you was a millionaire. I said, that's not right. That's not true. He said, yes, it is. I said, no, it's not. Multi. Now add that to it, and you'll be all right. Oh, he couldn't handle that. He like to have had a fit. And I said, you mess with me, I'll buy this station and I'll fire you. Yeah, he didn't like that, did he? That was a little fleshy, but it felt good. Just did. You know, I'm not saying it's wrong. So I realized that I will not move people emotionally to give.
Right. No.
I'm going to have people move according to the word of God. What is God saying to you? And I really believe this. If people would call this number and put this victory all over the world on every available voice, every available outlet, God, the Father, he would say, Jesus, go get him.
Yeah.
Because you see, he wants to see us as much as we want to see him. You see what I'm saying? And so what has hindered all these things is it's because people are not doing in the financial realm, because we live in an economic world, what God's called them to do. You know, he's called us to do that. So I don't have a problem with giving. I don't have a problem with receiving. It didn't make any difference. Because I just made up my mind. I want Jesus to come. They said, do you own a jet? Yes. You can have it the day after the rapture. It's yours. Because Jesse is going to heaven. I honestly believe this, that the reason why Jesus...
So nothing, and I mean absolutely nothing, makes us Christians look worse or better, however you want to see it, than rich Christians flaunting their wealth for all to see.
And not just flaunting their wealth, but pimping the pulpit.
Yeah.
That's literally what's happening here. They are taking what is otherwise a holy platform and using it for their own financial gain. So, I mean, it's like, and by the way, for the record, I mean, the neighbors know this, but just for the record, because you never know where these videos end up. None of this is in the Bible, right? Like this is, it's like there's no connection between tithing and the return of Jesus. For the record,
I love it. See, since we go Bible, I don't know where these preachers get off, and this is these people who continuously predict what will bring Jesus' return or when Jesus will return, when Scripture clearly tells us that Jesus himself doesn't even know when he is supposed to return. You know, no man knoweth not the hour, not even the Son. Like, so the fact that we can give our way into the return of Christ, so we can just, you know, how much is enough? Like, how much is it? 20 million to 5 billion? Like, what is it?
Like, do you need 5 jets? Is that when Jesus will be happy? Like, what does why would that compel Jesus to come back?
I'm
not even understanding any type of logic here. At least when they sell you like the holy water, it's like, oh, you know, drink this and you'll never die or something like that.
The miracle water.
Yeah, but if I'm not even getting any type of logic. Like I'm unconvinced. But what's always worse than, for me, or just as bad as the so-called pastors who pimp the pulpit in this way, are the people who are supporting this, the people who are listening to this, the people who are gleaning from this. Like, what is going on in your mind to have you, I don't know, just this twisted that you think, yeah, this is the kind of guy I want to give offerings to?
I'm sorry, I was getting a message that said Facebook lost connection, but it looks like the neighbors are still there, so I'm not sure what's going on. Yeah, and I wonder if what does it sound like when Jesus is telling them this, telling them that he needs more money? Is Jesus telling them, I need you to hold a $50,000 line, and you get a bunch of people together, and these people in the $50,000 line, I need you to get 50 million people to get $50,000 so I can return. Like, what does it sound like when Jesus is saying this? Like, these people, they just making us look bad, and it's terrible.
It's really bad. I am wondering what the lady in the back who is working the computer booth, what she's working the phone lines, what she's actually thinking that one. I wonder if all these people are believers or if these are just like random jobs. And what you do if you find yourself in one of these kind of random jobs, you responded to an ad on Craigslist or something.
This is probably here. Yeah. This is probably here. Like, I'm just trying to collect my check.
Exactly.
In
like,
Jesus' name.
This dude is nuts.
So, of course, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I'm not even sure. The other pastors are also sort of hesitant. They're a little reluctant in um confirming this guy. Again, they're not exactly like, yeah, yeah. Even the one guy's like, interesting.
One of my biggest concerns is, I'm not a pastor, so I doubt this ever happened to me. One of my biggest concerns is being on stage with someone and something like this, and they say something out of pocket, and I gotta check them.
What
Like,
should happen?
well, I don't know if you remember that video we showed. If you want to show when we showed uh that dude, he was on stage with Lecrae, and he said that
Mm-hmm.
that slavery was a blessing and all that,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Lecrae just like let it slide. Like, I hope part of me hopes I am in that situation so I can check them, but like, what will I do? And especially if it's somebody who at the time I thought I respected said something completely out of pocket.
Yeah, I think that's you never really know what you're gonna do, I think, in those moments, right? Like, do you, especially if in this case it would be easy to check this guy, but you're right, if it's somebody that you respect, if it's somebody in the same race,
Yeah.
I've definitely been in church and heard some things from guest pastors, or I've just been kind of been like, "Mm." And usually what will happen is that the pastor will come on, the senior pastor of that church will come on sort of after the fact, or the next Sunday will follow up and say, oh, that person shouldn't have said this, that, or the other. This is what we believe. This is actually correcting. I'm all for shaming them in the moment.
Pretty much. Pretty much. Hold up, player. I don't believe in that. You don't know what you're talking about.
Exactly. Just
Yeah.
correct it in the moment, because then you never know who's going to make it back the following Sunday. And in this day and age, where everything is recorded, right? This entire podcast is in part thanks to the silly and crazy things that people do that get recorded.
Exactly.
In this day and age, you got to correct that stuff in the moment, because you do not want to be associated with any foolishness.
Like Lecrae was.
Right. Like, you
Yeah.
can't afford that. It's like, nope, let's cut it off right now.
So it would have been enough if this would have been the only foolish statement that would have come out of this whole gathering that they had. But brother Kenneth Copeland, he's the dude, the other guy that's standing up on stage right now. He, as the neighbors remember, he's the one who bought the jet from Tyler Perry. And apparently he needs money for another jet. I don't know why. Also, he had some comments about how COVID has affected how COVID and vaccinations has affected his travel and the travel of other ministers like himself. Check this out.
Time has come for ministries, particularly traveling ministries, to have some other method of travel
Yes, sir.
other than the airlines. You get into this situation, we're not going to let you fly unless you're vaccinated. Well, to me, that's the mark of the beast.
So, Brother Copeland is upset because many airlines are not letting people who are not vaccinated fly. And Brother Copeland, who is not vaccinated, believes that the fact that they aren't letting people who are not vaccinated on the airlines, he believes that's the mark of the beast. And that ministers should have alternative modes of transportation. And I'm guessing he means private jets because that's his favorite mode. They should all have private jets so they can get around the airlines.
I'm loving the guy in the really bad hair and the yellow tie, because he's clearly uncomfortable with everything that's happening, but he just doesn't know how to get out of this. And he's like, you know what? They told me this would be a good platform. I came onto this show, and now these people are adding all kinds of stuff to the Bible. I'm pretty sure this place is going to go up in flames any minute now. Like, you just gotta leave. You don't want to be that silent, that person who's complicit through their silence. I mean, Kenneth Copeland is up to his usual foolishness. He is one of the best at pimping the pulpit. He will twist anything into his very personal monetary gain, and it's never enough for him. It's never enough. But you remember he sent the one jet to Afghanistan to pick up
Yes,
Christians.
yes.
So maybe that's why.
He let somebody borrow his jet. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So that was his thing. So
So
I mean,
maybe he doesn't want that one anymore.
because he needs a new one, maybe. And I hope to God that's not why he feel like he needs, because that one had Afghan brothers and sisters in it, and he feels like he needs a new one now. I hope to God that that's not it, and that's not what he said.
Yeah, or maybe he just wants an upgrade. I don't know.
All right. So we're gonna move on from this, and I want you to check this out. I saw this image, and of these people, what celebrity do you think would make the best choir director? We have, for the audio listeners, Mary J. Blige, Diddy, Missy Elliott, Busta Rhymes. Which one of these four would make the best choir director?
Missy.
I agree.
Missy's a writer, producer, performer, and she does things you've never even heard of, right? Like she makes up words and turns it into an entire hook, and then we sing her made up words. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. She's basically speaking in tongues in her albums already. So
Yeah, I think Missy has the best combination of vocal ability and arrangement out of all of them. So, like, I mean, hands down, vocal ability over Diddy and Busta, and most people probably say over Mary too. Definitely better as far as arranging than Mary and probably Buster.
yeah.
So yeah, so overall, I would definitely go Diddy.
A couple people are saying
A
Busta
lot
right.
of the neighbors are saying Buster. I don't know. I
I'm
don't
not
get it.
getting that.
I just don't get it either.
I could
And
see him coming on as like a guest, but not as your regular choir director. Like I could see you letting him come on and lead a song. You know, how you do that every now and again, but not as the main weekly choir director.
I guess Buster because of the energy.
Missy has crazy energy.
But Buster is on, like, prime Buster was on another level though.
Yeah, true that. That's a bit, but that's too like. What are you gonna do when it's the communion song? You can't have Busta Rhymes be a choir director where you got to sing like the sad hymns about Jesus being crucified.
The neighbors are really. I'm shocked because a lot of neighbors are really saying Buster, and a lot of them are saying Buster, and they saying Buster's wild. Buster has wild energy.
Yeah, I think Missy does though too. I think she's more versatile. And dang, nobody choosing the actual singer on here. It's Mary.
Nobody's choosing Mary. Nobody. Everybody. It's pretty much either Missy or Buster. And the Facebook neighbors, we lost connection, so I can't put any Facebook comments on the screen like we usually do. But do have a YouTube comment. It says Diddy already had them making the band and recruited straight from the church. But I'm not sure if making the band is a good thing to put on your resume, because did any of the groups do more than one album together? Maybe
I think Danny D. Kane went the furthest.
Yeah,
they actually sold a lot of records too.
The band, the first one, they just kind of all fizzled out before they even got to the finish line.
Yeah,
and then Day 26 might have done one album. Maybe that guy
maybe.
Group?
Yeah. Because he had the guy group and the girl group at the same time.
Day 26 was the guy group, and then Danny D. Kane was the girls, and
Danny D. Kane made some money off of Danny D. Kane. No, he made some money. For the rest of the groups, the point was the show. Like he made money off of the show and humiliating them, and then. But Danny D. Kane, he made double money because they actually did pretty well.
So I apologize that we can't put this on screen, but Donna said Buster looks like he's in his last trimester with liver failure. He's more drunk uncle than choir director.
But you know what? He actually lost a bunch of weight. He was on the Tamron Hall show. He knew his son, I think, told him he looked raggedy. And so he lost 100 pounds. So now he's a healthier Buster 2.0. Google him.
Okay.
He's a little better.
Okay.
Oh yeah, it did lose connection on here. I see what you're
Yeah.
saying because I can't see the comments. Okay.
Yeah. Don't know why. All right. So what I want to do now is I'll play a little game with you and the neighbors. I am going to name something, and y'all going to tell me if this is a real business or organization, or is this made up?
Okay.
All right. Okay. So, right. So the name of this is called. This is an app called Building Funder. Building and Funder is Fundr.
Yes.
This app allows your church to track. This app allows your church to track the building fund. So the app is the icon of the app is a little thermometer, and you open the app, and it's a thermometer inside. You can see where the church is as far as building fund contributions. They give you a link so you can like send the link out to other people so they can donate. People that go to your church or don't go to your church, they can donate to the building fund. And it's also a place where you can keep up to date of different events regarding the building fund, different services, different fundraisers, things like that. So it's an app called Building Funder, Fundr. I want you and the neighbors to tell me, is this real or is this made up?
I thought it was real until you said the thermometer thing. That sounds a little too specific to me to be real. But I would say I think it's a good idea, actually. Yes, I'm gonna stick with my answer. Yes.
Yes.
It's
Okay.
real.
Neighbors.
Neighbors are like
Building Funder. Is this a real thing
fake.
or no?
Anything regarding the building fund is real.
I'm waiting for the neighbors.
Real.
Real. Anything regarding fake? No. Okay. So, and the survey says Building Funder is completely made up. I made that up on the fly. I don't think. I mean, I could look at the App Store right now. I don't think such a thing exists.
That would be a good idea, though. I guess it exists in a certain way, given that you can like text give and give online and all that kind of stuff. But it probably doesn't have a separate thing for building fund.
No, there is no. There's Tithely, which churches use to collect offering and tithes,
Right.
through text and stuff like that. But yeah, there's no actual church building for that.
What happened to the building funds that were like, what if your church started a building fund in like January of 2020?
Okay.
Do you keep the building fund going?
Oh yeah.
Or do you just say, you know what, like maybe we need to completely rethink this whole thing?
Oh no, the building fund, every neighbor, and neighbors help me out if I'm wrong here, every neighbor who grew up in a Black church, either your church or some church has had a building fund that has gone on multiple years. Not a single renovation has been done. Thermometer been up on the back wall for years, and very little or to none renovations have been done at all. Neighbors, am I right or am I wrong? Building funds, and some building, and my sister Kristen mentioned some building funds are not even for new buildings. Some building funds are for the upkeep of the current building. But everybody knows that there's that thermometer that's in the back, and that thing don't move. That thing hasn't moved in months or years for no reason. Yes, see, neighbors saying truth. They all know that.
But who's going to even give to it if you were outside of church, which everybody was for several months, well, they were supposed to be. I mean, I don't know. That feels real complicated to try to keep something like that going when you're not meeting in the building.
Well, if you believe in the mission of the church, I mean, you got to believe that at some point we're going to get back to normal.
Right.
So I mean, it's gonna happen eventually. So you believe in the mission and you give.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like the whole building fund thing is a bit, maybe that's outdated. Maybe we can just have special funds for special projects and then you do the project and then you move on. I don't
That's
think
called the
building
building
funds are
fund.
survive.
That's called the building fund. So
But
special
but
fund,
see, the
special project.
building fund has too much stigma attached to it at this point because there's never a new building, like you just said. I think we need to leave those behind.
Shay on Facebook mentioned that her church actually did better during quarantine, and some churches did. I know my church um, giving increased during quarantine as well. Unfortunately, that's not everybody's testimony, but yeah, some churches did do a lot better during quarantine because I think that the church has to survive, so you kick in more money, and plus you now a lot of churches went online, you can reach more people.
Right. And it's not the tithes in general. It's specifically a building fund when you're not in a building. That's just a
Right.
level of irony I think some people wouldn't be able to get over. But yeah, in terms of tithing, absolutely.
Okay, but it's all about the mission. You want to keep the mission in mind. The mission in mind. All right. So this past Sunday, Fred Hammond he's doing this thing. I guess it's going to be a weekly thing called Friday Night Lit. So basically, for a lot of you neighbors don't know, Fred Hammond a lot of years ago, not long after he moved to Texas, he literally bought a warehouse. And he did what's called warehouse worship. So bought a warehouse and had worship sessions and he recorded in there. And if you ever see pictures of it or see videos of it, he has some of his cars in the background. And he does all kinds of things in that warehouse. So he took to the warehouse again and basically started recording these um music sessions slash pre-recorded services. So it was music and he was talking in between the songs and everything. The first one he did some old school gospel songs, like
Okay.
public domain kind of songs. He did some public domain stuff, some Walter Hawkins stuff, Andre
Hmm.
Crouch. And then he did one of his older songs and and mixed in some talking in between. The
Hmm.
thing I want to mention is he had some comments about the current state of the gospel music industry. And a lot of it, I should say some of it is what we've talked about on this show before. But I want you and neighbors to check out how Fred Hammond feels about the current state of the gospel music industry.
I say this all the time. I think that the gospel music industry is the black or urban gospel music industry is not doing great these days. But I think that we're peaked in our relevance, and so we have to get relevant again, and we don't necessarily have to. Maybe next week we'll talk about the whole Maverick movement. Okay, the whole Maverick movement. You'd be surprised. I don't have a problem with Maverick at all. I think that they're great at what they do, and all the nephews over there, eat, do your thing. But for me and mine, I got a lot too much hood in me to just boogie. I got to hear that drum. I enjoy it. I enjoy hear some songs. It's so clever and it's great and it's anointed. But I still believe there are million people showed me that they need what we have to offer. I say this.
So, you and the neighbors, do you believe that the gospel music industry is losing its relevance?
That's a tough question because I guess what's the gauge for that? So if you look at what Kanye West is doing, one can say that it's never been more mainstream or more relevant in terms of at least his appropriation of gospel um for his record. That I mean that's super mainstream, but if you're counting Fred Hammond's or Erica Campbell's record sales, um I don't know. I mean, the music industry has changed in and of itself. So none of the artists are making the money that they used to make. Radio has changed. I mean, Black people definitely still listen to radio, in particular Black women over index on basically every media platform compared to other demos. But um I don't know how to answer that question, right? Like how do you, what's your gauge for that?
So I think that we're seeing a lot less use of the choir in churches, and
Mm-hmm.
I think we're seeing a lot less urban gospel, urban worship being sung, and so that's what he was getting at with Maverick City. Their sound is much more, eh, excuse me, much more
CCM. Mm-hmm.
CCM, much more CCM
Right.
than it is gospel. So that sound, I'm getting all choked up. That sound, that that
You
sound, that
okay, my brother?
yeah,
That's
something just the devil is attacking my throat. Uh, that sound, that Fred really helped usher in that urban worship sound. I think that's, to his point. I think that's fading in a lot of our churches. And a lot of neighbors. Donna was saying, Freddie never lied, and people saying gospel artists got to sing about their struggles all the time. Um, there was a sound that we had at a point in time in church that is um, not being displayed any longer. And
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a couple different reasons for that. I think you're seeing more multicultural churches,
Yep.
and when churches go multicultural, the music, at least in my experience, the music skews towards um, the CCM
That's right.
non gospel. Some people would say white sounding music.
That's right.
And when you have the deterioration of the choir, anyone who's ever been in a worship team and will either led a worship team and led a choir will tell you it's a lot easier to lead, 5 or 6 people on a worship team than 20, 30 people in the choir.
Mm,
So I mean, it just is. You much rather just deal with 6 personalities and 6 people than 30.
mm,
And you got people with the attitudes and the lazy altos and the diva sopranos, all these archetypes that you have in the choir. A lot of that is real, and so you just
mm-hmm.
tired of dealing with that. And so if I'm a music director, man, it's a lot easier for me to just get 6 real good singers than 30 people who half of them act like they don't want to be here anyway.
I wonder though. So you're right in that churches are changing. People's engagement with even going to a physical church. I'll be honest, a lot of times in quarantine, I would fast forward past the praise and worship. Um, if that was something that was going on at the church at that time and get straight to the word. It's not that I don't like gospel music or whatever, but at that time, it just didn't have the same feel for me to be doing that at home as it does, when I'm live and in the moment. I also wonder if there are people who have really tried to stretch gospel music into different directions to maintain its relevance and the extent to which there is room made for those people. We can think about the Walls Group. We can think about Jonathan McReynolds, just to name a few off the top of my head. But there's definitely still people, Corey Hawthorne, like there are people still trying to maintain and I think extend that sound that people like Fred Hammond and Kirk Franklin have definitely helped to pioneer. But a lot of times those people are getting knocked for them deviating from not being not staying true to that like sort of black gospel essence. So I think that we have to ask, if it's an industry, then you have to move with the trends. If you're just talking about gospel culture, gospel music culture, that's one thing, right? Which is
Mhm.
definitely tied to our worship experience and how we get together. But I think if you're talking about an industry, that is fundamentally, it's a marketplace. And so you have to ask yourself, has that marketplace evolved alongside of its consumers? And I would say not enough.
So you don't think the industry has evolved with the consumer?
Yeah, not enough. I don't think to the point where millennials are. I think that we still have, in terms of the persona that one has to fit into, the mold that you have to fit into to be a popular gospel recording artist. You know, there's always going to be, in my opinion, more room for the Tamala Mans and the Tasha Cobbs, Leonards, and the Kiera Sheards, and you know, these people who fit into more of a respectable, clean cut mold. But if there's other artists that might have something to say, but might not be able to fit into those same sort of traditional standards.
So I'm under the belief that the biggest um, marketplace or the biggest advertisement for gospel slash Christian music is the church, like the physical church. So I think there's on some levels, people have to be able to sing your stuff in church.
Okay.
And I think there's a direct correlation to, in a lot of cases, to the popularity of your song, of your music, and whether or not people can sing it in church. And so I think, as far as gospel music goes, if we're getting rid of choirs, if people, less and less churches using choirs, then choir music doesn't have a home to go. Ricky Dillard has John Lawrence. They can make all the choir music they want, but if it has nowhere to go after they produce the work, it's not going to have any legs to spread like it used to in the 90s and the 80s and what have you. And since artists, there's not a strong presence of urban worship in the marketplace, then people are led to sing Music City, a Maverick City, and it led to all these other CCM artists. I mean, I think part of it, and this is not to be harsh, but I think part of it is, in my opinion, Israel Houghton was the gateway drug for a lot of black people into CCM style music, because Israel is like that blurred line, like Israel, in the Live from Another Level, the South
Israel
Africa,
and New Breed,
New Breed, the
yeah.
South Africa album. I think that's like a blurred line of gospel and CCM. And so I think Israel made CCM a lot more, that style of music a lot more palatable for people who are otherwise would have been into traditional gospel or traditional urban gospel. And I think when his music became popular, I think people kind of found a way in, and they said, "Oh, okay, I can like this stuff, and we'll both sing this other stuff in church, and we will sing a lot less of urban gospel and traditional gospel."
Yeah, I don't know if so. Who also sounds a little CCM the more and more I listen to her, and I love her dearly, is CeCe Winans. And with her last release, I found myself wondering, I don't think she sings it in a CCM style, because that Detroit just show up and show out in her voice. But I think that the songs itself, in terms of the song construction, the simple lyrics, the fairly simple melodies, it definitely has that CCM feel to it. I don't know.
Yeah, and the neighbors, what our neighbors is saying, Alvin Slaughter did it first. So maybe so, but I would push back and say I don't think Alvin Slaughter ever reached the popularity that Israel had. So on one token, Israel, and I've seen this, Israel did a tour with Chris Tomlin, who's a CCM artist, and then went on tour with Kirk Franklin and Marvin Sapp and somebody else. So I mean, Alvin Slaughter wasn't doing that. He wasn't basically walking in both worlds. Well, I'm doing a tour with a bunch of gospel artists, Then this month or this summer, but last summer I was on tour with Chris Tomlin, who was a well-known CCM artist. So I don't think Alvin Slaughter had that same type of parallel that that Israel had. That's just my opinion.
I think the way in this day and age, the way that you create buzz around any industry, any entertainment industry, you have to be in multiple pots. You can't just be doing one thing. You can't just be releasing music. I do think, although I disagree in general, I don't think anybody should do a reality show. I do think that Mary having a reality show helped them stay relevant, right? So I think that the more pots you're in, doing stage plays and, doing tours and getting endorsements, the more pots you are in, them being judges on Sunday Best, when Sunday Best was still a thing. Yeah. That just allows you to basically leverage the buzz across all those platforms. Oh, yeah. So it can't just be any single thing. You got to be doing multiple things. You know what? We need, if this is not, I don't know if this already exists because I'm not a part of this community. I wonder if there's like a gospel Peloton ride situation happening.
I don't know.
This
I'm not sure.
Happen.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Peloton.
Erica Campbell be working out.
Okay.
She could do this. Yolanda Adams also be working out. And they both talk about and post about, Erica posts her workouts and stuff all the time. This should happen.
There was a gospel DVD back in the day, Donna Summer, Sweating in the Spirit.
Right.
Yeah, so I'm not sure if there's now an updated something for Peloton. I don't know.
But that's what I'm saying. You gotta be, you gotta spread it around. You can't just stay in one, on the Spotify playlist. You gotta be in multiple pots. Seriously.
Okay. Well, since Dre is not still with us yet, let's move on and let's talk about Kelly Price. So, and just in time, look at this.
Wow.
Just in time. Lord knows I tried to wait.
Just like Kelly Price.
Just popping up. What's up, brother?
Popping up just in time.
What's going on? What did I miss?
Everything. This is the last segment.
45 minutes.
You missed Fred Hammond talking about the gospel music industry is not relevant. Is losing its relevance.
Okay. Reasonable.
I will if we have time at the end, I'll replay it for you and any other neighbors that didn't catch it. I'll replay what he said. But for right now, we're gonna move on to talk about Kelly Price. For those of you who don't know, Kelly Price, and the reason why we're talking about it is because she's a part-time gospel artist, to say the least, maybe.
Okay.
Some people just call her gospel artist, but we'll say she's at least part-time gospel artist. Kelly Price was reported missing for a number of days. A few weeks ago, she contracted the COVID virus. And then Kelly had a hospital stay for about a week or so, and subsequently left the hospital. While she was in the hospital, she is reported. Everything we're saying is reported and alleged because the story is kind of all over the place depending on who you talk to. She allegedly was having contact with family members while she was in hospital. There's one article that said that the people were visiting her while she was in the hospital. I didn't know you could visit COVID patients, but I continued. So people were visiting her in the hospital, and then she left the hospital, and then for some reason lost all contact with her family. No contact at all. And after days of no contact, family got worried, and they contacted the police and filed a missing persons report. Police went to her house and did a wellness check, and they were met by her husband. According to her, that's her husband. Some people say it's a boyfriend, but she said that was her husband, who met the police at the door. Police never laid eyes on Kelly while they were at the house. Police said, I think the husband told them Kelly's at an undisclosed location. this whole time, right after that, lawyers and other people who are close to Kelly were saying Kelly's fine, she's okay, she's recovering from COVID. But the family is saying we have not heard from her, still concerned. A few days ago, Kelly basically said, "I am yet here. I am yet alive.
Yet and still.
I'm yet and still. I'm
In the
here
land of the
in the
living.
land of living." She came
Come
on.
on.
She came on video,
Yeah.
and in the video, she basically said that she was in the hospital and that she said she died in the hospital.
Yeah. She said she was
and
medically dead.
she was medically dead in the hospital, but the Lord kept her, and so
Yes.
now she is with us and alive, and she's recovering. She left the hospital. She when she left the hospital, she was still COVID positive. They sent her home with oxygen and some other stuff. While she was home, her husband also got COVID, and so we have two people in the home with COVID. That's why they were so secretive, not letting people in. This other stuff, according to Kelly. But now, according to Kelly and her lawyer and everything, she is no longer has COVID, and
Amen.
she is still with us. She's technically still on the missing persons list. The lawyer said there's something she has to do. That she has to go to the station or something like that to be taken off. But so technically she's still on the missing persons list, but she is no longer missing. Okay, did I miss anything? Y'all can take it from there.
I think so. I also read that apparently she said fans were coming to her house. I remember this is Georgia. So, they don't have the same restrictions as the rest of us. They're one of those states. So, she said that fans were coming to the house and like ringing the doorbell and leaving gifts and flowers and things, and that she couldn't recover in peace. And so that's why she wasn't at home. And she also said, this is the part that I found incredibly interesting, especially for us as Black folks. So, or people who identify as Black, who are in the neighborhood, is that she said, and by the way, my sister, I don't talk to her no way. That their relationship has been strained for years. And this sister, I believe, is the person who originally sort of rung the alarm about her being missing. But she's like, I don't really mess with her like that. And it made me think about, no matter how grown you are, this woman's almost 50 years old.
Yep.
No matter how grown you get as a Black person, especially, this is what I'm going to speak to that experience. You don't have the right to distance yourself from your family. Like, I don't think that is a thing. I don't think that you can be like, well, I need my privacy.
Wait, you say, is that culturally what happens, or we shouldn't have that right?
I think that is culturally what happens.
Okay.
I'm not saying I think it's right or wrong.
Okay.
But I'm just saying, like, even as a grown, hopefully wealthy woman, you can't just be like, you know what, y'all, I need my space. No, your family will be like all up in the space.
Yes.
They need to know. They need facts. They need verification. Like, and I don't know whether or not that's a good or bad thing.
So here's my concern, right? Because I did first see that it was her sister who came out. Now, if they've been beefing for years now,
yes.
My concern was her sister popping out of nowhere thinking she's going to miss out on some funds that might have been dispersed around if her demise was not so greatly exaggerated, if you know what I mean. Because we all have those people and or family members or have had stories of family members who pop up out of nowhere all of a sudden when they think there's some money to be chopped up due to someone's transitioning.
So
that's my question. That's my concerns on this one.
So instead of people talking about they got to get right with God, the sister is trying to get right with Kelly before Kelly passes.
Oh no, she was trying to get right with the estate.
The estate.
She thought Kelly was gone
The estate.
because Kelly made it very clear very quickly when she came back. Oh no, I don't bang with her. Don't ever let her speak on my behalf.
Yeah.
It's like, have you ever heard those people? Maybe this is because I had old Southern people in my family. It's like those folks that say, at my funeral, don't let such and such talk. You know what I'm saying? You ever heard that? It's like, I don't want them speaking on behalf of me. It's like Kelly decided, like, I'm taking a social media break, but let me jump back on here to say she can't speak for me. It was one of them situations there. The whole thing sounds a little shady. I hope she's okay. I hope her. Now, we also need to identify the husband, boyfriend type of thing. Is like a common law husband, is a husband in my heart type of thing.
She called the man her husband, so I can't say no. He's not.
Does the state she lives in call it her husband? The state of Georgia call it her husband. That's the question. I'm just asking questions. I'm just asking. But yes, I hope the good sis is okay. The whole thing
there were
is
all
messy.
kinds of. Did you freeze up? There were all kinds of rumors regarding this.
It was a hot
And,
mess. Twitter will just, Twitter will just take something to. I was like, I can't stand the interwebs. Like, y'all just, people were like, okay, come on, everybody go down. Like, go find Kelly, your, dang self. Like, this was a bit much. How quickly this took off. And I think that she has to be a little bit more mindful of that. If she was really okay this whole time, it's like, sis, the world, or at least the section of it that is very familiar with Kelly Price, is really up in arms right now. You could have squashed it a little sooner.
This was half a FaceTime with somebody she's still cool with. Like, hey, I'm good. I'm just recovering. I don't talk to me. And when they keep on talking about they ain't heard from her children ain't heard from her children. How old are her children?
One is they're in their 20s. They're in their 20s.
That's what I thought.
7 and 25, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, because they kept on saying they abandoned her. I read that her children ain't heard from her. Well, her children are grown as well. It's not like they're at home with no cereal, and you know what I'm saying? Like, they good. Like, that's what they trying to make it sound, So
it was all kinds of rumors about this. People were saying she was in The Masked Singer. That's why she was incognito. You heard from her. Like, it was crazy.
That's a good one.
Our people would just make up all kinds of stuff. Like, Fox would let this go on. And when you're on The Masked Singer, you're not on Survivor. You're not on like an island or nothing. You still going about your daily life.
Exactly.
Hey, Kelly could have used that check. Maybe, I don't know. That's a good check.
Yeah,
did you hear Tony Braxton was on The Masked? Oh, some of y'all may not be caught up on your DVR.
I saw her on a commercial. I don't watch that show.
I wasn't ready for that. I'm like, that woman has too many Grammys to be on The Masked Singer. But that's
hey.
Yeah, how could you not recognize Tony Braxton's voice? But that's another story.
That's a whole other story. Anyway.
Yeah, I just think this is really the real story here is Kelly Price trying to isolate herself from her family, trying to become estranged, as they say, which was a word I didn't understand until I was a grown adult person. And I had heard the word throughout childhood, but I was like, nobody in my like home life community ever says this word. So whenever I would see it, I would just never look it up. Then finally, as an adult, one day I looked it up and I said, "Oh, that's what estranged means." Mm-hmm. I don't think that's even possible for Black people.
She was trying to see if she could do it,
unless you've done something like unforgivable,
heinous,
and
right.
Even then, somebody gonna drive by and check on you, like
which people tried to do.
Quarterly. Yeah.
People tried to do. Yeah, this whole thing, and all kinds of rumors about the husband, boyfriend, that he's controlling this whole situation and he's up to something shady. I mean, this whole thing was a mess that could have been killed, could have been squashed. Let me say that. Could have been squashed. Could have been squashed in the first few hours. She could have just went public and said, "I'm fine." But technically, I guess you could make the argument that the lawyer did not long after it came out go public and said she's fine, but the family
that was like, not enough for people.
Yeah, it wasn't enough for the family.
We need proof of life.
It wasn't enough for the family. They was like, until we hear from Kelly, I mean, it's crazy because Kelly's version of how close they are and their version of how close they are is two different stories.
Drastically different stories.
Yeah.
She's like,
So
I don't like you.
yeah, the
I
truth is
don't
somewhere,
like you. Leave me alone.
but the family's impression of the relationship and Kelly's impression of the relationship is totally different.
She just has a flair for the dramatic, and it's a shame that she isn't doing a reality show right now because this just would have been great for ratings. But
Either that or she is taping a reality show and
I don't know.
You ain't taking reality show. You got COVID,
Hmm.
and,
No.
and according to her, she is long COVID.
I did.
right.
I was just watching a show with somebody who. Do y'all watch Married at First Sight? The brother got anyway. I'm not gonna.
Oh yeah, he did get COVID.
He did get
Yeah.
COVID. Yeah, I watched.
You're
it.
right.
Anyway.
So
Sorry.
I don't think she's taping a reality show right now. I'm just going to go on a limb.
Just
Because
saying that's a
she
missed
is
opportunity.
like I mean, if you on like death's door, I don't think
Yeah.
Well-
This is the other interesting part. Her lawyer would not say whether or not Miss Price is vaccinated.
I'll say it for her. There's no way. unless I mean, let's be real. Unless she has some other pre-existing condition that we don't know about, and maybe so barring some other condition or disease she had, there's no way you can have been vaccinated and be and her in her own words died. Like that goes completely against the science. She would have contradicted. She would have been the outlier of all the science that we know about this vaccine, all of it.
Well,
She would have been the first.
blessings and healing unto her. Amen.
Yeah.
Amen.
Amen. All right. So that's all I had prepared for the show. So for the neighbors that still want to stick around, I don't know if you have a rant, brother. Yes or no?
I got a couple questions.
Okay.
My first rant is I'm not gonna sit on here and act like Dr. T's cut ain't fire. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Let's go. Let's go. The power. Anyway, that's a whole different thing. It's the first time I'm seeing her. I apologize for being late. I don't have many rants. I got some questions. These are just questions I have for the people. The things I go across in my daily life that hit me. What? This is the first thing. What is the etiquette when walking downstairs behind someone who is walking slower than you want to go? Do you walk close to them to pressure them to speed up? Do you go around them, or do you just be patient?
You're going up or down the steps?
You're going downstairs.
You just be patient. I mean, unless you're like really in a rush, you go around them. But if you're not in a super
How
rush,
old are they?
See,
Are they like elderly? Because that matters.
Okay, see, I knew there was rules to this here.
that's true.
And so we're talking middle age here. Let's say anywhere like let's say from 30, or late 30s, early 50s.
And there's no mobility issues. Like
No
they're
mobility.
just walking slow.
Are the
See,
stairs
these
as
are
the other
good
side of the steps? Is people coming up the steps on the other side of you?
Yes.
Is it crowded?
It's not really crowded. You can make a move.
Then you just make your move. You say excuse me and go around them.
You bust a move.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. I feel bad doing that sometimes. I don't know. I feel like I'm doing the wrong thing sometimes. But then I don't want to be too close to them because, COVID. Because I used to try. And plus, as a large black man, you just can't walk too close to people nowadays because that's a great way to catch a charge.
There was never a day where you could do that. You're like nowadays. That day never.
You just gotta make sure you can clear around them. Like you're not like half knocking them over as you're trying to go by them.
Right.
Or just a small
Or
little bit.
startling them. You don't
It's like in football. You gotta make sure you can hit the hole.
You got. Here's my question. Like, that's a good question. How much clearance space do you need? Because I don't want to scare them.
It depends. It depends on your body size. I mean, you know
I'm
your
not
body.
small.
Yeah, you know your body, so you know if you can get
And the
around.
size of the staircase.
Yeah,
Okay.
The
and the size of the
stairwell, right?
staircase.
So, like in Willard at class changing time, it's a
Right.
no-go.
It's a no-go.
And those youngins walk slow.
I
As
know
you
you
know
be,
what?
man.
They walk slow. But then if you in the parking lot,
This is
the
where I was
parking lot
at,
staircase, oh, it's huge.
but I
You have
had
enough room to go around.
I just
somebody.
didn't know if there was etiquette to this game. I didn't. So I appreciate this. I got just one or two more questions that's been on my heart lately. What are the physical qualifications and job requirements of a crossing guard? And because some of the guards I see ain't really gonna be able to do much to help if some stuff goes down.
It's
I've been
not
looking
about
at these-
stuff going down.
I'm just saying, I've been looking at these crossing guards, and they take more time waddling or to the middle of the street with that darn sign than anything else. And so I don't understand. I guess I get the purpose, but is their only job to hold that sign? And are they expected to like do something else if you see a speeding car or something?
No.
No.
The crossing guard, you gotta be able to stand for maybe 5 minutes at a time. That's about it.
And that's the mind-boggling part.
Can you stand for 5 minutes and then sit for 20 or sit for 10? That's
Where are these crossing guards sitting?
in their car. You never
in
seen
their
crossing
car,
guards
at the
in their car?
intersection.
Yeah,
Oh,
they park their
no.
car.
Ours, so there's an actual cop who, you know, I never make eye contact with in our neighborhood.
That's funny.
And I don't know, it just feels like surveillance. He doesn't sit down ever, he stands up the whole time.
The people I'm with, so we're talking all 60 and above, just from their physical appearance. And standing for long periods of time is not their strong suit. And by long periods of time, I'm talking anything longer than 2 minutes.
Yeah,
Because
they should.
my question is, how did you get this gig, and what made you think it was the one for you?
Nobody else wanted it.
Well, because when you think about it, you're not working, but you're working hour, 2 hours a day.
Who else wants to get up at 7 a.m. or whatever time you got to be
Before
there?
school, after school.
Stand
that's
outside in all elements. Like this
Don't catch
has.
haters at a volunteer gig.
The biggest question is, what are they doing during the day? What are they
They
doing
might get a
when they're
small
not
stipend.
They are not standing.
They
I'll
get
tell you that.
enough to go to the Perkins. Okay,
They
for
are
the early
definitely
bird senior
eating up
discount.
The Perkins.
The Perkins.
Yes,
so-
they're going to the Perkins. Wait, and then they're going to the UEC to
For the
catch a
$5.
hot matinee.
UEC is a
Honestly,
movie theater.
some days that life don't look too shabby to me.
I got one more question, and this
Go
is
for
an opinion piece
Okay.
for y'all. What are your feelings on when you should close the blinds or the curtains in your house on a daily basis? Because I got a problem. Well, I'm not gonna get my. I'm gonna say something.
Okay, get it out.
I shouldn't be able to roll through the neighborhood, and as I'm riding, I can see clear through your domicile. I know what you have on the wall, what you don't have on the wall. I know that couch needs to be replaced. You really should paint over this. And I'm still hitting a solid 30 miles per hour, and I can see everything. And so my thing is closing the blinds a cultural thing? Is it divided along race lines? I'm confused.
I don't know.
Yeah, I wish I could help you with this, but some people just leave them open, and
Why?
wow.
Like, well, the first thing any domicile I have moved to
Well,
is I'm getting the freshest of blinds in every single window.
yeah, but
Change
in the
the
winter,
lock, brand new blinds.
you want to leave it open so you can get heat, so you can get heat from the sunlight.
Yeah, but I'm like, what time? But what? Okay, great point. What time does that stop? Because it's usually harder
it
to
gets
see through
dark.
during the day.
It starts when the sun starts going down.
Yeah,
Some
that's what I
people
would
don't
say.
believe in that.
Yeah, they don't.
And I don't understand it. And I just want to make sure I'm not the only one out there because I'm very particular about this. Like the evening sun begins to set, shut them down. Shut everything down. You
If
don't
it,
need to
yeah,
see in my crib.
Fitz said his wife closes the curtains when the sun goes down. I would say most people probably do that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the type though. If there are curtains and blinds, you're getting both closed, just in case.
Okay.
It's just me. And then the last question I have is, I need y'all to stop letting Starbucks hustle y'all out your money.
This isn't a question, by the way, but go ahead.
It's a true, it's more of a statement.
Hooked Phonics works for
A
me.
declarative statement.
It's definitely a statement. Exactly. What in the world? There's something called a medicine ball. Have you heard about this?
Oh yeah,
No,
I've had
what
it.
is that? I don't go to Starbucks. What is that?
It is I was.
It's a cure for anything.
Yes, they out here charging people
that they drop in your coffee or something.
In your tea.
Oh no, it's a it's their own blend. So I'm not sure. I can't remember exactly what's in it, but it's like a tea blend. It's a hot drink.
And it's a bag. So here's what's in the cold fighting concoction: jade citrus mint green tea, peach tranquility herbal tea, hot water, steamed lemonade. What in God's holy heck is steamed lemonade? And just a hint of honey.
A hint of honey.
And to jazz it up, some customers order a pump of peppermint syrup. And so for me, it's the concept of black people been putting random crap in hot substances for years, and we ain't been selling it.
How much?
Obviously, we missed out the boat on something.
You know how much they charge you for this drink?
I'm not entirely sure, but my students try to tell me they don't know it's reasonable.
Probably. No, Starbucks is not reasonable, but I will tell you, the way these kids live, guess what? They need it. They need it. Some of them is the only non-alcoholic clear beverage, somewhat clear beverage they have had in days, huh? Okay. So they need it. They need to keep drinking it. I will tell you, there's been a few days where, especially during flu season, these kids get sick. You start feeling kind of and I have had a couple of those.
Okay.
To just make it through the afternoon. Let me tell you, they help us out.
See, so you've had this drink before?
Yeah, multiple times. Because I needed it to because I wasn't at home. You know, I wasn't in a place where I could do my own thing. Yeah, so I hopped by the Starbucks at the library.
You've had the Starbucks, man. You've had the magic elixir from Starbucks.
It's called a medicine ball, and it's a little packet.
It is effective. It's effective.
And she is not the first person that I'm hearing say this. And I'm just saying,
it's overpriced. Yes.
We've been putting stuff in people in drinks for years, and we just didn't do a good job marketing it, evidently, because a medicine ball from the Starbucks. And the problem is, some of these same kids that their parents told them to put some tamarind and some other mango and rind and some other things and let the heat hit them in the face. They look at them crazy. But all of a sudden, you're going to listen to Starbucks and let them tell you what to do. I'm just saying.
I am amazed at how much I see students partaking of the Starbucks. And I'm like, don't tell me nothing about you can't afford the book.
And
that's the book right there. That last week, your Starbucks bill. That's the book.
We do have 3 Starbucks at our institution. So yes.
Always crowded. Always a line. Always a line. Long line. Almost completely made up of students.
Because they're selling a legal drug.
What is that?
Caffeine.
Yeah.
That's true.
They're selling a legal drug.
And some sugar.
Way to break that down.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah. Dr. T, do you have any tea for the people? Get what I did there, the transition?
Okay, I do. I actually have a couple things. I'm very proud of myself. Clap for me. Yay. Okay. So
It's the haircut. It gives her new powers.
look, I'm trying to start this new year of my life off right. So I found out that MAC Cosmetics is working with the Whitney Houston estate to release a special collection next year, 2022, in conjunction with the release of her biopic, I Want to Dance with Somebody. Here is my question. At what point do we cross the line between exploiting the dead and honoring and celebrating the deceased, right? And sort of just honoring their legacy. I really feel like we are treading very close to this line. You know, I don't know. I don't feel great about this. And not just because Whitney has gone on,
True.
but because her only child died devastatingly in like the exact same way, which tells me that there was some lack of coverage. I mean, she was a grown woman, but she's a young woman, and I feel like, are we more concerned about, the endorsement deals than we were about trying to keep Bobby Christina alive? So I'm thinking this one is exploitation.
Yeah, I have to agree. And my question is, who is getting paid off of this? Like, it's the estate. So is it her mother?
And is it her cousin, the woman?
No, not Dionne Warwick.
Leave Dionne out of this.
Dionne getting money off this. Godmother,
Dionne is not related to Whitney.
Might as well be. Every time Whitney come up, Dionne come up. Oh yeah, I know it.
Oh, I thought she was. I thought that was her cousin, like her second cousin or something.
Godmother or something like that.
Yeah, it was her god. I don't know.
Well,
yeah, so I think Whitney, her mother and her brother are still alive.
And I guess it's her sister-in-law was her manager or something. She's real involved. I can't think of her name.
The only child she had was Bobby Christina, who you said has passed away.
And I personally think it's in poor taste to sell anything powder based with Whitney's name on it.
Oh goodness. See, I'm not.
So foul.
I am not.
Okay.
I am not.
Okay.
I have one more thing, Cliff.
Go ahead.
I have one more thing because, one of the things that I got for my birthday is R. Kelly is going to prison for a very long time. I personally wish for that when I blew out the candle on my cupcake. And, but here's the interesting thing that I found his ex-wife, Andrea, said. I'm just going to read the quote. She says, I sit in a very difficult place because unlike the rest of his victims, she is herself, she says, a victim of him. I also share children with him. I was married to him, so I wear two hats. I wear the hat of a survivor and an advocate, but I also wear the hat of a mother and an ex-wife. I feel that my heart is in two places. My heart definitely goes out to the survivors and the courage that it takes to come forward and tell the story. But my heart breaks as a mother because this is now the legacy that my children will have to deal with and their children's children. And you know what? At first I was like, I don't care what she had to say. Then she said that part about the kids. And I thought, dang.
That's true.
Let's get them some new identities real quick. I think Tyler Perry usually handles stuff like this. Tyler.
It's not like it's not like
we need to be estranged.
Okay, but
sever.
But most of the people don't know who they are anyway.
Today.
I guarantee you R. Kelly got an R. Kelly Jr. or R. Kelly III, whatever his name is. Like he's that type of narcissist.
But it's not like it's a Kelly is an obscure name. Kelly is a very common last name.
Okay, that they might
so you can be. It's not like your last name is Bobbitt. Like you could be Gloria Kelly and just be Gloria Kelly and live your life, and most people won't even know who your
No,
father
people
was unless you
find it
say
out.
something.
I'm about
I
to
think
say.
people are gonna find, especially in this day and age, somebody's gonna figure this out, and I feel like it will come up, and that's a heavy
Heavy burden to
burden.
bear.
She should like move to Mexico or something.
I don't know about
Seriously,
that part.
like I wouldn't want my kids growing up in that, having to at least to calm till things calm down.
I just Google R. Kelly's children. I know all their names and I have their pictures.
Now, because you Googled them, yes. But okay, so give me
Am
the
I the
name.
only
Of,
person with Google in the world?
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Let me look at these people's names.
One. Actually, some of them are rather general. I don't know if those are all his children. But yeah. No, I understand what you're saying.
This sister's name is Joanne Kelly.
Shh, brother, why you putting her?
Come on.
We trying to protect identities.
Come
That's why I
on.
didn't say the names, man.
Come on.
Don't say the
If
name.
Joanne Kelly walks up
Why
in
you
your
keep
place,
saying her name?
it's on. You just said it's on Google.
Well, okay, it's true.
If Joanne
Nobody
Kelly,
just walking up will know, but if you find yourself in community with these people, like if it was your neighbor or your classmate or your coworker, and you're like, "Oh, I'm such and such."
Tell me about your
from
family.
Chicago.
y'all out here tripping. Who's out here Googling their neighbors? Do y'all Google your neighbors?
Yes.
Let these people
And
live
they
their life.
Google me. And they
Yes.
Google me.
Let these
Yes,
people
they
live
Google
their
me.
life.
And it becomes clear. I've had neighbors get in contact with me and they had no way to contact me because
you
they
find
looked me up.
all right. So you find out Joe. So let's say Joanne moves next door to you.
Quit saying Joey's name.
Okay.
As he just said it.
Jay. Let's say Jay lives next to it. Let's say Jay Kelly.
Why you keep saying their
And
names?
don't, cause you just said it's on Google, because I'm trying to prove a point that these are common names. It's not like, oh, what are you gonna do? One of them move next door to you. So what?
It is a
R. Kelly's
burden
their
to bear.
dad. It's not like he's coming over to hang out. The dude's in jail.
Because he's going to do.
He's gonna be in jail probably for the rest of his life.
These are some classless jokes. That his joke was as bad as mine.
Yeah.
My joke? I said the dude's in jail.
No. Yours was really bad.
Like,
Dre.
what is gonna happen?
funny, though.
Nothing. Let these people
Yeah, it's
just
not
live their
gonna.
life.
But
Like,
it
this
is a
It is a
shame
tough
that they
battle.
will carry. Come
Yeah.
on.
100%.
What I'm saying is they may carry it internally, but I don't think there's gonna be a bunch of this external shame that people are gonna think that y'all trying, this narrative y'all trying to say.
Do you know how mean kids are?
They not kids.
Oh, they're grown?
They're
This is now getting awkward. I don't know.
they are at least teenagers. They're at least teenagers. And it's not like you sending 7-8-year-olds to school and R. Kelly's my daddy.
Okay.
This is not what we're looking at here.
Okay. No, you're right.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
They 23, 21.
Y'all coming out here with this 19. Fake outrage. Like,
okay.
Internally, yes. Internally, I gotta deal with my dad did this.
Yeah.
But I don't think people they're gonna walk down the street. Oh, you are Kelly's daughter. Oh, don't come near me and my kids. Like it's not gonna be like that. That's all I'm saying. I
don't know, cuz. Hey, bro.
These people, how long has R. Kelly been famous?
Can I be honest with you? I have a real life.
And have you known?
I have a real life correlation. Life got a little dicey for. No, I don't want to say that. Never mind.
I know what you're talking about. That's because it's a small town and these people literally own the town. I know exactly what you're talking about. That's why these people they have buildings named after. It's totally different. These people have buildings named after them. It's not the same. One of the dudes actually worked at your place of employment as well. It's not the same.
It got dicey for them.
Everybody. No. Everybody I'm just saying, because I'm tired of people making up like fake outrage, like fake.
It's not outrage. It is a heavy burden.
It's an internal. It's an internal burden for them. But average Joe on the street is not gonna think twice about these people.
I I would agree with you. I thought the kids were younger, especially from the tone of Andrea Kelly's remarks. But I absolutely think that those are going to be some big therapy bills.
Yeah. Oh, they should have already had them probably.
Like
for the
CVS
kids.
receipts.
You talking
I
about for the
mean,
kids?
just
For his children.
deductible.
Yeah, for his children.
For
Yeah.
yes.
Her
yes.
too.
Yes, my argument is the internal anguish. I'm not questioning that.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
don't think the external pressure will be to the
Yeah.
level that y'all making it out to be. That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying.
No, I thought they were a little younger and having to deal with school and all of that.
It's 10:30, so I'm not going 10:23. I'm not going to dig too deep into this, but it does have an impact on certain things you're going to do in life. If you are, unless you are seeking to live a civilian lifestyle, if you grew up around entertainment in some way, form, or fashion, you want to be involved in such, that is an avenue of possibility that has been cut off from you. There is a very direct impact, in my opinion.
I'm trying to see if there's a comp.
Michael Jackson's kid?
I was thinking the same thing.
I mean, isn't Paris? Is that?
But he never got guilty. He never.
Yeah,
got
it
guilty
was.
for us.
It wasn't the same degree of, rolling forth of the
That was a little bit more
transgressions.
disputed.
Yeah.
Do you think life is different for Bill Cosby's kids?
No, because they have their grandparents. I mean, I think that because of how old they are, I think absolutely people look at his wife
Camille.
crazy.
One of his sons has been slightly vocal in his defense as well. I think he has a son, right? And he was the one guiding him in and out the courthouse. And so, but I'm just saying, in today's world, no, it's not the biggest injustice in the world to them. No, but there is for kids who grew up around entertainment. I do think that avenue is fairly cut off to them at this point.
If they wanted to, I won't argue that if they wanted to pursue entertainment, they have now a much tougher road.
They probably real talented
than otherwise before.
Because we got to talk about. Never mind, I'm not going to get into that.
They probably real talented.
That brother, at least two of them can sing. I guarantee.
Yes.
But
then their mama could dance. So,
but I will argue that if you're talented in the entertainment and sports industry, your talent will overcome any other kind of. People will overlook your personal flaws or your family issues if you are talented enough. It won't be an issue.
Okay.
It won't be like this is a much lesser extent, but Mark Ingram, the running back for Houston, his dad is a whole felon. He used to play in
right?
I don't know. Used to play in the NFL, but that didn't affect Mark Ingram's ability. Dude, I think he won a Heisman. Like that didn't affect his ability at all to advance his career professionally because he had talent. Now it's not nowhere near the magnitude of what R. Kelly.
It's nowhere near
that. But I'm saying I don't think it. Like I said, if his kids were talented enough, I don't think it will be an issue. Like if his son or daughter or one of his sons or his daughter were super talented, and I don't think people would care. People would care, but I don't think that would be enough to keep them from advancing in their career.
Well, peace and blessings unto all of them.
Yeah, yes. Praying for them.
And the victims of R. Kelly.
Oh, yes, praying for some serious healing. Healing. May the healing continue and commence if it hasn't already.
All right, yeah.
That was good. Cliff really got into that.
I love it.
I just can't.
I wasn't ready for that reaction.
Me either.
People in the fake outrage, man.
I wasn't mad.
Not mad, but like, oh, this is gonna be. No, it's not gonna be. We don't know these people.
Okay. Anyway,
that's what I'm saying. We don't know these people. Nobody. None of the neighbors. I would venture to say 90% of the 99% of the neighbors did not know these kids' names before we mentioned them. We did not know
That's
their
why I
names.
said not to mention them, and
You
you
told
just
me
kept
to.
saying it over and over again.
But once you said it's on Google, I Googled it just like any of the other neighbors could have Googled it.
But you ain't had to say it.
Before you said something, I would never even thought to Google his kids. This is what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
This is what I'm like. Nobody's checking for them like that.
They got multiple articles.
I don't-
Anyway, let's go. Okay.
Or-
I'm gonna
The-
disagree
that's
with
the
you.
media. That's the media. The average person is not gonna say, "Oh man, Jay Kelly, huh? I wonder.
But they're
Huh.
writing for the average person, so
I wonder."
we could go down the circle.
Jay
We
Kelly.
have 9 people here. Let's wrap.
What do you think? Oh goodness. All right. I thank all those you had who still hung out with us, and hanging tight with us here in the neighborhood. We do this show every Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern, right here on Facebook and on YouTube. If you can't watch us live, we love you. Hang out with us, and we appreciate all the neighbors that hang with us live and comment and get involved in the show. If you can't hang out with us live, you can always watch on demand. That means anytime you want to, at your leisure. You go to turntoyourneighbor.com for all the different ways, the podcast or YouTube or Facebook or businessbully.tv. Lots of different ways to watch the show. We appreciate those of you that hang with us live, but if you can't, that's okay too. We're just happy that you take some time out of your busy life to spend an hour or so with us, and we appreciate it. All right, you good? So I guess you'll never hear what Fred Hammond had to say about gospel, but that's okay.
I may have a rant on it for next week.
That's okay.
It's okay. I'll go look it up.
Somebody said I'll forget their names by tomorrow. Thank you, Just Playing 12. Thank you for backing me up. All right, y'all. I think we good. So neighbors are organizing stuff in the chat. Okay.
He just wants to know about the meet and greet. Mac is still trying to get down for the meet and greet.
In these COVID times, y'all try to get together.
I'm just asking what
Delta variant just running wild. And y'all trying to.
I mean, if everybody's vaccinated, no.
Well, hey, according to some, I'm gonna leave that alone. All right. Until next time, y'all take care and be blessed. Peace.